In this 3-minute game review, we're looking at Cantata. So hit that subscribe button and let's get into it. Cantata is an early access turn-based tactical strategy game with a unique twist on managing resources and logistical supply lines. Cantata probably has the best art style of all the games I've played this year. The cutscenes and character designs look like they came out of a Mike Mignola comic book, and the stylized pixel art has a color palette to suit the game's weird and wonderful universe. The sound effects and soundtrack, however, were basic but serviceable. Nonetheless, it was still consistent with its deep space opera themes. Cantata's gameplay is probably one of the more unique ones we've seen so far. It combines the familiar and well-known mechanics of turn-based strategy games where you deploy troops and vehicles across the battlefield and try to outwit and outmaneuver your enemy. With the more unique aspects of managing your base logistics and supply lines, players will be pleased to know that the gameplay runs really deep. You will have to mine the planet's resources for supplies and process the supply into various secondary and tertiary products, which will be required to train new units and construct new buildings so that you can explore and expand further. Supply lines can also serve to help bring more troops to the front lines quickly. The more units you kill, the higher you go in level, and this unlocks even more options for refining materials and training new units. Eventually, you will be forced to expand for more supply as well as more land space to construct more buildings. So this competition for resources and land is what drives the conflict in the game. The game features 3 factions: the humans, who are a military oligarch, the technologically advanced robot AI, and the local natives on the alien planet of Shoal. All 3 factions play very differently and have unique units and methods of establishing your supply lines. The learning curve is steep, and it really takes a while to truly get the hang of things and understand how the supply lines work. Thankfully, if you ever get confused, there is an in-game tech tree that isn't exactly a research tech tree per se, but rather a visual guide on what buildings and units require which resources. Once you've mastered the supply system, the game becomes a rabbit hole of thinking things through and planning your logistics so that your armies can win their battles. But for all that's good, there are a couple of issues. For example, in the late game, when you have more units on the field, it becomes almost a chore to manage each of them manually. And not to mention, the campaign is still incomplete. But so far, in the first 3 missions, the writing is great and the characters are memorable, with themes of exploitation and destructive colonization of natural environments closely tied into the gameplay. I am curious to see how the full campaign is going to turn out. Cantata is unique and strange in so many different ways, from its story and setting to its beautiful art style, right down to its peculiar combination of gameplay mechanics. It certainly isn't going to be everyone's cup of tea, but it definitely is refreshing to see indie developers pushing the boundaries and taking risque design decisions to create games like these. I would recommend fans of turn-based strategy and logistic management games to give Cantata a try. If you're craving for more turn-based strategy games or roguelike deck builders, check out our other videos. Otherwise, like and subscribe for more 3-minute game reviews.